Hi everybody, this is Boog Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the McFarlane Toys DC Direct The New Batman Adventures Batgirl figure. So before we take a look at Batgirl, let's take a look at all of the accessories that she comes with. So first up, you get her animation cell. And this is actually from the Love is a Croc episode. This is the same episode that the Killer Croc animation cell comes from. They are two unique animation cells, but I do wish they would have chosen a different episode for Batgirl. It's weird having two figures that come with an animation cell from the same episode. But if you want to read about that, go ahead and pause that now. Up next, she comes with her stand. This is the same stand that we got with Batman, except this one doesn't really fit her the best. She's a very thin figure, and if you clamp that onto her, then it starts bending her cape, and I really don't like that. It's also extremely loose. If you don't have her on it, then it just falls down. It'll just keep falling lower and lower, so I'm not sure why it's so loose. Kind of defeats the point of having a stand if it's loose and doesn't want to even stay where it's supposed to. Up next, she comes with a set of relaxed hands. Up next, she comes with these semi-relaxed hands. Up next, she comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, she comes with these accessory holding hands. That's the only hands that I've gotten Batman's Batarang in. It fits very loosely. She really can't hold it that well. Up next, she comes with a left grapnel gun hand. It is cast to her hand, so you can't remove it. You also get an extra grapnel here. This one's done in black, and it looks like it'd peg into this. Just like with Batman, I'm not sure why they gave us this as an accessory if she can't hold it in any of her hands. So yeah, I don't know why they even gave this as an accessory. And finally, she comes with an alternate left hand for holding her Batarang. And despite this being a pretty tiny accessory, she does hold it really well. She doesn't want to drop out of her hand or anything. When I saw how thin it was, I really thought it would drop out of her hand, but it doesn't. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by that. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at her head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think McFarlane Toys did a decent job on it. Unlike the previous release, the features on this one are actually printed on instead of solid paint, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't think it's showing up on the camera, but mine has a little bit of black showing on her teeth on the left corner right here, and that is a bit unfortunate. You can see that some of the skin tone got painted a little too high right here. She doesn't have an equal amount of the mask right here, so this one is wider on the right side. She has a very soft and pliable cape. It is cast in yellow and has blue painted over top of it, but you can see how horrible that blue is painted. It should be blue all the way to the edge right here and then be yellow on the inside, but you can see that there's barely any blue on the edges here. It's just haphazardly painted on, and it's like that on both sides. So yeah, I really don't like the way that looks. Her body is done in matte black, but you can see some little splotches of glossy black. You can also see she has like this really weird texturing on her body. You can see where it's really flat right here and then goes to glossy. The elbow joint on the right side is extremely glossy and really chewed up, and on the left side it's not and it's flat. It's just really weird how there's gloss patches and then matte patches, and then you have that really weird texturing on the figure. It's like where the matte plastic is, it has some weird texturing. And then on the legs, on the thighs, back to glossy plastic. And then on the calves, it's, well, you get a little bit of glossy plastic right there, but most of it's matte. You can tell, especially back here, the difference, how it's so different. And I'm not sure why that is, but it looks terrible, honestly. She also has the weirdest ankle joints I've ever seen. They're really ugly, and it really hinders the articulation. This actually popped off on me the first time I tried posing it around. It does pop right back on. I'm not sure what the designers were thinking when they made the joints on this figure. It's just ugly and it barely even works. So now let's go over her articulation. So she does have a ball jointed head. It does move up and down, and it barely even moves side to side. There's barely any movement right there. She has shoulders that can move out all the way. She has elbows that can only bend in that far. The articulation is horrible on this figure. She has a swivel wrist that can move side to side and up and down. She has no articulation in the torso. She has those ugly T-joint hips that can do a complete split. She can kick forward very slightly, She can kick back very slightly. She has single-jointed knees that can bend that far. She has swivel at the boot. She has swivel ankles that should be able to move up and down, but they do not. And then she has these really weird joints. I suppose you could consider these ankle rockers, but like I said, it's the weirdest ankle rockers I've ever seen. So now, let's do some size comparisons. Before I do size comparisons, I did want to mention, I do wish she would have had peg holes on her feet. The animated figures so far that I have don't have any peg holes, because I usually use the just your standard DC Multiverse bases on every figure I get that McFarlane makes. But yeah, you can't use any type of stand with her, because she doesn't have any peg holes. I'd prefer her having peg holes and a base to that awful stand that she comes with. So first up, here she is next to Batman. Here she is next to the Joker. Here she is next to Scarecrow. And finally, here she is next to Harley Quinn. So overall, I would not recommend picking this figure up because honestly, she's terrible. I did pick up 3 of the new Batman Adventures figures. I got Batman, Batgirl, and Killer Croc, and so far, I'm not impressed with any of them. I think the worst is definitely Batgirl. She has the worst articulation I've seen on a McFarlane figure, which I know this is just a re-release of a previous figure, but they could have added some articulation improvements to it. But yeah, this one has hardly any articulation, and really is only good if you want to have her just in a vanilla pose on your shelf. I really wanted to do some cool action figure photography with this, but due to her not being able to stand up and having barely any articulation that works, it's nearly impossible to do that. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend picking this figure up. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.